We'll start with pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. A couple things I have real quick. Mitch, I know that you got a shirt for your being president for a year. Yes. Well, since you're planning for 2 years, actually, we ordered 2 things and one thing even this week. Oh, okay. That kind of gets, and it's not wrapped up or anything. But anyway, hello, Rotary talking about too. The other thing is Fines and Happy Bucks, and Jerry's not here. Anybody want to find it over?
I would suggest finding Jerry. Just saying.
Al's not here, he gets fined.
Al's here. Here.
You guys want to know why I'm not here? Look at the top of my head.
Oh no.
What happened?
Dermatologist yesterday. Took part of my ear and part of my head off.
Wow.
I gotta wait 10 days to find out if anything's good or bad.
Can you hear me okay, or do I need this microphone?
I can't hear you.
That was the question.
Okay. Can you hear me better now, Al? Can you hear me better?
I can hear you better now.
All right. Find some Happy Bucks.
A little birdie mentioned that somebody has a special day today. I won't say who podcasts it.
Oh.
It's actually over 25th. Birthday?
It's close to a birthday?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
I am 89.
89.
Happy birthday.
Another year and you might be old.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how to describe that.
Easing up on it.
Find some Happy Bucks. Since Jerry's not here, I guess I'll take over unless anybody else wants to. First off, any Happy Bucks?
I only got $1, so we got to make some cover. I get 2 for a day.
It's a sale. It's a sale today.
We had a great visit with the kids. Sad to see him go. Patrick was here for 2 weeks, Danny for 1. Little birdie told me there is a proposal in the works for me that she does not know about. So we
So don't put this Zoom meeting out on.
she will. Yeah. And also, I'm not working today. I don't think that's I had to make sure I enunciate.
All right, any other Happy Bucks? I told y'all last week about my brother-in-law. He is getting a liver transplant today at 7:30 a.m. All right. So
Where did they find the liver? Where did they find the liver?
I don't know. To be honest with you, this weekend he had liver transplant surgery scheduled at 5 a.m. Sunday morning, and at 7:30 they said, "Oh, we started an hour late," and at 9:30 they said, "Oh, he's not a match." So at least they didn't cut him open, but I don't know.
What they prepped?
I guess I don't know. He was back in the room at 9:30.
I remember when Sue went for a transplant that they said the surgeon makes a decision after he sees the artery. So you could be under. You could wake up and say, "We're sorry." So
it may have. He was back in the room at 9:30 wanting breakfast, so I don't know. But so anyway, hopefully today's surgery is successful. Second. So now get my 2 for 1 also for not wearing the pin. Anything else, buddy? Oh,
like
2 for 1 there. Well, welcome.
Are happy.
Good to see you again. Anybody else? All right, so
I'm going to turn it over to Jim here in a second. We've had my good friend Chuck Carver come a couple times, and I talked to him and I said, hey, if there's someone from Maryland Heights, we'd love to have come and get to know the community better. And he asked if I thought he was chopped liver, and I said, no, we just don't have enough time for you to talk. So anyway, no, he's got stuff going on today on top of it. So, but he had recommended Jim Carver, who is the Economic Development Director for Maryland Heights, which Overland would love to have when they mention.
Yes.
But anyway, he's going to fill us in on Maryland Heights. Figure we'll get to know a little bit more about Maryland Heights here since we're moving here now. So, Jim, I'd turn it over to you.
Here because they're watching you.
Sure.
This is good. This is good.
My name is Jim Carver. I'm the Economic Development Manager for the City of Maryland Heights. I'll give you a little review about me. I've been with the city in this position for just over 2 years. Prior to that, I served as a city council for almost 10 years here in Maryland Heights. I'm also a graduate of Rittner High School, so it's been a little while. But I'm an Air Force veteran, and I spent about a little over 20 years with Union Pacific Railroad prior to taking this position. That's a little bit about me. The city of Maryland Heights. Maryland Heights is an amazing city. Love it here. Kids love it here. Kids. Still raising kids. I'm married and I have a beautiful wife, 4 kids. Spread 27, 19, 14, and 6. So we're going to be around for a little while. But yeah, so they love it here. And my wife's from here. She's grown up here her whole life. So it's really very adamant about our community and certainly improving what we have here. Again, most of you know Maryland Heights exists. So it's about a little over 26 square miles. It's about almost 20,000 people. And like I said, there's 1,800 businesses located here. Significant business community in the city of Maryland Heights. We continue to experience growth, even through the pandemic. We continue to expand in our business community. We certainly want to create a positive business atmosphere for them to be here, as well as retain the businesses that we currently have. And that's a struggle, especially like I said, through the pandemic. No one really knows what the outcome will be from an office standpoint. I'll tell you, it's probably going to be, you'll feel that full effect in about 18 to 24 months when folks are coming back to those offices, so you'll experience of vacancies throughout. The city of Maryland Heights is working on a couple really, really dynamic projects that are community-based projects. And Chuck asked me if you really want to speak about those and what we're doing. One of those is we purchased a piece of ground, just at the corner of Dorset and Peak Road. It was a vacant piece of ground. Years and years and years ago, there were several things that drew away back in. You're my age, it used to be a bar, it used to be a gas station, it used to be a restaurant, it used to be many things. Today it's vacant, there's nothing around. So it's on the north side, northwest corner of Dorset and Peak Road. It's a small little market at the very end, right? Well, the old quick trip's on one side, and then that vacant lot's on just the opposite side of the street. So the old quick trip is sold, and Tony's Donuts, if you're all familiar with Tony's Donuts, that will become the new Tony's Donuts drive-through. So, it's under construction now, so they're working on it. But the vacant lot the city owns, and we're turning into what they call Heroes Park. So Heroes Park is veterans and first responders, fallen first responders. So it's going to become that kind of park. So you'll see, of course, you'll see brown statues that memorialize the veterans of all the services throughout. Plus, you'll see different features throughout that park that recognize all the first responders from Maryland Heights Capital Fire District. So, you're not aware, Maryland Heights has 4 fire districts within their city limits. Big 4 and Monarch, Maryland Heights, and Capital. All Maryland Heights. The city of Maryland Heights. Most people don't know that. It's just Maryland Heights. That's it. But that's one of the projects that we're really focused on and we want to see completed. Certainly, we want to get to work on it before the end of the year and see progress, and hopefully we want it completed by 2022. So it should set that corner off and memorialize what we currently don't have here. So the other one is a much larger project that we're working on, which is called the Sustainability Center, and it's a 5.5-acre tract that's adjacent to Capital High School. Behind it is what they call Amherst Renewable Energy Site. If anyone's familiar with that, Amherst captures methane from the landfill, turns it into electricity. Powers about 12,000 homes today. So, and the great thing about that is it goes back into the local grid, so it does have an impact on Maryland Heights residents. It doesn't go into the big grid, it goes into the local grid. So what we're working on the new project is called the Sustainability Center, which will house 3 greenhouses and interpretive center for education. What it does is talks about renewable energy. Everything on that site will be wind, solar, methane. It will be powered by methane gas or some type of sustainable energy, along with clean water. So we're working with Missouri Drinking Water to put in different features that show how your drinking water comes from, where it comes from, how it's done, but how we can conserve water and do different things. These partners that we've partnered with are many. So of course, Ameren is one of those. Waste Connections, who owns the landfill, is another partner in this, so that we can capture methane and pull that off of the landfill as well. We partner with Spire, who's building a new gas plant at that same location. They'll capture methane from the landfill, clean it, scrubber, reintroduce it into the grid as natural gas. So the more we pull out of the landfill and turn it into something good, the better our environment will be, especially locally. So we want to make sure that we do that. But those are really 2 of the biggest projects that we're working on community based. But again, like I said, the city continues to grow. Of course, we're trying to implement new parks, bring on new programs, and keep the community safe as well. And so I think we've done that. And so the city is in a really good position financially. And hopefully we're going to stay at that. So those are really it. If you have any questions, please. The Reynolds Roadhouse property is going to go away. Jerry is not going to reopen it. It's being looked at by another person to purchase. They're in negotiations now. I tend not to get involved in how they work that out on the numbers, but we'll see what happens. Same guy, same people are working on both. Correct.
How is Westport Plaza doing? And in particular, the Worldwide Technology parking lot looks empty.
It isn't.
Yeah, so what's the status of all
There are no employees at that building.
that? Really?
Mr. Kavanaugh is not going to bring back anyone until September the 13th. And that he's still only willing to bring it back in increments of 15%. And we'll see how it goes and then so on and so on. But he has no plans to bring anyone back until September the 13th.
I would do a couple days on home, couple days back and forth.
They already had that even prior to the pandemic. They had a work from home model already. So a lot of their employees worked, 2-3 days from home and only came in the office, that way. But when you are housing 1,100 people, it's a significant impact, especially on the Westport, the Westport businesses throughout. Only two businesses actually closed in Westport through the pandemic. One restaurant, and then of course Gateway News, the quick shop that sold newspapers and everything.
Somebody give you a lengthy comment here. My wife, we were out without electric the weekend before, so we decided to come up to spend a night. I go back to 1974 when we moved our business, distribution center on the business, I opened the store. So Becky and I went out for breakfast the next morning at the beautiful new St. Louis bread company. I said, I want to go over to West. I was thoroughly disappointed with West.
Sure.
I go back to opening the store there in 1974, and we were in our prime. First thing I did, I walk up, and the stair railing in the middle of this big stuff, and it rusted off. They had it sitting over here on the right. Didn't even get rid of it. Some of the vacancies in there, to me, it's almost like blighted area. Quite frankly. And then there were windows with the windowsill rotted out at the bottom. And I'm thinking to myself, I was so disappointed in what I remembered and had there. I mean, I had a store there for 20 years and we were successful. But not what I'm looking at up there right now. It's sad. And then you look over there, you got this great big new worldwide technology building sitting. What are you doing? Or what are they doing? Who owns it now?
LHM owns it. Lodging Hospitality, who owns the Sheraton, they own all of Westport Plaza. Bob Laughlin, who we've been in discussions with as of late about those very things that you just brought up, property maintenance, etc. If you take a closer look around and walk the whole property, you'll see, a couple of retaining walls have fallen down. There's several other issues that they have that they correct.
Well, I had tenants in there.
That is true.
I was just absolutely shocked.
Right. Their gold tower, that if there's any light at the end of this, the gold tower is about 88% still leased up, and they're all back in their offices. So there's not a lot of vacancy within the gold tower, except they said you can't continue to rely just on those office spaces being, the only thing that you have. The restaurants, again, Paul Manio's is closed and is closed for good. Unfortunately, Bridget could not have the liquidity to withstand the pandemic. Along with, like I said, Gateway News.
I wonder why he was.
Well, he wasn't doing very well with that either. So.
Well, to me, that's
correct. Correct.
Oh.
And he's still open, and they're still open for dinner. They usually open at 4 o'clock. And Trainwreck has survived as well, along with Kobe Steakhouse, and Jim survived. They're still doing okay. Fish is still there. There's several that are still okay, but they're still struggling. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They're still struggling. Yes.
You cover the property on River Valley Road between the railroad tracks and Lake Extension. I saw some construction warehouses and stuff going out there.
Correct.
Cyclists there probably 200 days a year. Is there any talk of doing any of the roads to mitigate and some trails around there.
Yes.
Is,
Yeah, and actually on the east side of River Valley Drive will be a dedicated 10-foot wide bike path. And then on the west side, there'll be sidewalks along that. And then eventually, yes, there will be connections to the trail network. And we're still working on that with GRD and TrailNet to figure out how we can make sure that this kind of integrates together in a fashion that doesn't have a negative impact on the park and park.
I see some nice construction of new trails between the recreational center and the Mill Road, I guess. There's a offshoot of the paved.
Yes, and then there's also a new, it was just delivered this week, the new bridge that connects the subdivision that's up above to the actual trail. So those we're going to start seeing more of those connections from the neighborhoods to the actual trail network in the next one.
As you head north on 270, the overpass of McKelvey, is that still in Maryland Heights?
The McKelvey overpass?
Yeah. What are they developing on that northwest corner?
Rise Amusement Park.
Where's that going?
It's Rise, called RYZE, and it is actually not in Maryland Heights. The actual amusement park is not. It's in the village of Champ. Familiar with what that is? Yeah, correct. The property actually belonged to Grace Church. And if you don't know that, Grace Church is not in Maryland Heights either. It's actually in the village of Champ. The first 100 feet of their parking lot is in Maryland Heights. So that's the only thing. That's where the property line divides. But it is Rise Amusement Park. It's a ropes course, zip line type of amusement park that they're building. I think the total height is like 150 feet. But most everything that they're doing is gone through the channel. Again, they see value, and they have already, of course, the school district has already planned to bring kids up there for different functions, and some of our corporate citizens have planned corporate employee events there as well.
Or eliminating the undesirable employees. Really gone wrong.
Rotary Club meeting.
Survival of the fittest.
What about along the Maryland Heights Expressway? You know, you see some dirt turning, and you always hear some things that, I'm sure there's some things that haven't come to fruition yet. But what's going on that we can know about at this point?
Well, if you look at just the location, one of the things that there's certain areas of the 141 Maryland Heights Expressway corridor that you can't build on today. One of the biggest issues I think that comes into play with that down there is nobody wants to see anything built down there. That's just not feasible. Number one, it's all private ground. It's owned by private landowners who want to sell it. $50 million for a roadway was put in, build 141 from that for the true intent of development occurring in the area. The city of Maryland Heights wants to be responsible in how it does develop and what gets built there that doesn't become a negative impact on the park. On the other hand, and I'm going to say something here, some of you will probably look at me and go, it's a terrible thing to say. But the park can't dictate every decision that you make. It just can't. Even though they host about 1.7 million visitors when you look at the numbers. But I think that there's a way that we can develop the area that makes it a responsible development. But things that you can't do anything is, unless you can control the stormwater, you're not going to do it. But that requires a pump station, which is no different than Kirk City, no different than Riverport, no different than Chesterfield, and many other cities across this country. Again, it's much needed. It's been needed for many years in order to control. Most of it is to also have a more positive impact on the park, because if you can never control the level of the lake, the park's going to always continue to flood. The park is your largest reservoir for stormwater, and that's it. This is what most people don't, I guess, maybe don't know or don't want to know. We take 52 miles of watershed coming from town and country to
Is it actually more than town and country?
a little bit.
I live with the two at least. We have a big creek.
And it connects.
Well, I thought actually I used to live on Lake Road is wide enough to the Missouri Court.
Correct.
So everything coming from Lake Road and northwest.
Correct. That's right. Right. Everything feeds that into that bottom, into that watershed. So when you look at the water, it's runoff. So when you talk about the water quality of the lake, it's exactly that. It's runoff. So you see the folks out there swimming, I gotta do that. Because you literally
Don't get it.
and a lot of the subdivisions that are up above on the bluffs that run further south, that had at some point in time when they were built like bio retention areas or lakes or however rain gardens. Most of them are not functioning like they did when they were built. So now you get even more of that water running off into this watershed. So like I said, a pump station is desperately needed. And it has a really positive impact, not just for development purposes, but water. I mean, it maintain a cleaner watershed throughout, because that water has been filtered before it ever gets pumped out into. And you can do it slowly. Today, when that water comes in the watershed, they just open the floodgate and let it all out. For the pump station, you can do it mentally, so then you're not impacting across the river.
Where do you allow that out of
today? Yeah. It comes in Creek Creek, and Creek Creek comes out under 141 around the backside of Schmidl's nursery and out the into the river. There's a floodgate just to the north of the MSD plant. Yes.
There were big black pipe.
MSD. Not right now. It's temporary. It's their MSD project at the lift station. They had to put it above ground because they're currently boring. If you go around to Creekport Middle Road over by the railroad tracks, you'll see the big boring machine. And they're boring to put in a permanent new sewer line underground. Okay. But right now they had to put temporary. Yes.
I know the spill is there.
Yes. Yeah, it's in that's MSD.
The pump station be an MSD project?
No.
More of it.
It's a collaborative effort between Howard Bend Levy District, the Corps of Engineers, and St. Louis County. That's how that works. It's always controversial. But I would tell you there's probably controversy with just about every levy district that exists throughout the state. I mean, it's some, way, shape, or form. Most of if you look at the Howard Bend levy district, I mean, there's been a levy at the river since 1935. The Howard Bend Levy Association was formed by farmers in 1935. They incorporated it into an actual levy district in the 80s. But again, it's been in existence for a long time.
Yeah. None of us shop that. That for the plant small. So this is before that was created. We grew up in Chesterfield on a farm. I remember being taken off on forest and flood. The levees that are along those were built by farmers. They don't know how they were built. And then about 3 years later they break. So I'm sure it's the same way along Maryland Heights. Well, the agricultural levies don't exist anymore. They've all been removed and been replaced. Yeah. So, so the main river levy is 500 plus 3, and it's certified by the Corps of Engineers. They inspect it annually. So they come out and they actually walk the entire thing and inspect it annually so that they can recertify it every year. The actual flank levees, what they call flank levees that protect the inner ground from the creeks, are all newer and have been updated to Corps of Engineers. The most of them are 100 years that protect it from the creek road. So in '93, though, before the levy was at the 500 plus 3, it was still plus 3. Three more 3 feet above the 500-year level. So it's 3 feet taller than that. But like I said, it did breach. The Howard Bend levee breached in '93 to the south down by the water plant. So you can also, if you ever want to see it, I'll show it to you. You can almost see where it breached. So I kept it that way. So as a reminder, that can happen. Yes. Now, since it's all about the cycling.
Absolutely.
What else is there? Someday I'd love to see where they connect like Chesterfield, National Motor Trail over here sometime. I cycle all over the country, literally.
Go talk to Chester.
Yeah.
Well, the idea when we did 141 and the olive connector, are you familiar with it? So when the city and the county did that as a joint venture and made the olive connector to 141. At that time, what they call the Baxter Road extension was planned. And if you're not familiar with Baxter Road extension, that would have taken you from Chesterfield, where the Top Golf is at today, and brought you right into Maryland Heights from that location. Right now, it just ends at the nursery. So if you're in Chesterfield, the outer road just ends. Our plan was to bring that into Maryland Heights, which is now what you call Waterworks Road. And then we all would have connected, because that would have brought it all the way out to 141. Chesterfield said, absolutely not. We don't want any connection whatsoever. So they don't want any of their people coming to Maryland Heights spending their money over here, but okay if we just come there. So
when the Katy Trail was talked, I live in St. Charles County, it was like a criminal element. Like people are gonna be riding their bikes, stealing stuff.
You really want economic, they don't want you are the North County versus West County.
Right. I think it's more of that than it is anything else. But like I said, I don't see that, and I certainly don't see the competition in that regard. And to be frank with you, I mean, Chesterfield will cannibalize themselves. I mean, they've already done it, and they continue to do it. So they just will put up the same businesses here, and here, and see who wins at the end of the day, or who goes under first.
You do them all for sale when they put those other two.
Yes, you did. But yeah, from a retail, you can only develop or have so much retail in one circular area. and then it becomes too much, especially if it's not diverse enough that has different products that you can choose from. When you're the same store selling the same thing or lined up in the same strip center, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So, like I said, there's no diversity in all of that. Certainly you have a choice. As consumers, you can go wherever you want to spend your money. But at the end of the day, when you put up the same stores that sell the same thing, it doesn't really work out very well. Somebody is going to not fare well economically, and eventually they'll close the doors. And yes, they did. So if you look at Maryland Heights, and since you brought up tax abatement, you can look across the city of Maryland Heights. There's not a whole lot of it. They don't grant a lot of tax abatement throughout the city. There's a couple of Chapter 100 deals that were done most recently, and they're very short term. They're 10-year deals, and they're split 50-50. So there was no negative impact of fire districts nor the school district economically, so they all still get their money, which is a good thing. Like I said, so you know, Heights is very picky when it comes to granting incentives. When we look at TIFs, which is the terrible word that everybody hates, you know, tax increment financing. It's a bad thing to do. It has its place, and it's a tool that's necessary in certain areas. And I think it kind of gets a bad rap because it has been abused in many different ways. And when I say abused, it means that a lot of those dollars went directly to the developers and not to infrastructure or to the improvement of what the totality of the development was. So there's only one remaining TIF in Maryland, or two remaining TIFs in Maryland Heights. One of them is at Westport Plaza, and the other one is on
Westport Plaza. That's the one.
No.
Oh, after
yeah, it's after even after White sold to a different company, and they had it for several years before LHM bought it in 2012. The actual TIF wasn't created until Worldwide built their building on the site. So, the East Dorset Road TIF has been in place for a long time. It's only got about 6 years left on the East Dorset. So that TIF runs from the railroad tracks at Dorset Road east to all the way right into it.
So the blue facility, obviously a big plus around it.
Yes.
And me one of the bigger accomplishments in the last year or two. Yeah. Anything else exciting that you're excited about that you're coming up?
Oh, I mean, what's that? Yeah, St. Louis Music Park is also under what they call under Ring 4. So in the summertime, Ring 4 turns into a mini amphitheater, if you will, and a lot of these smaller concerts are being hosted there. There's actually 27 that are scheduled. They go all the way to October. Their actual first show is next Tuesday. They call Black Berry Smoke. So they will be there, which is, if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of the Allman Brothers tribute band type of music that they're playing. So, but there's many others that are coming out there, as well as the amphitheaters. I think there's 18 shows scheduled with the amphitheater. On Casino Center Drive, on your way right down to Hollywood Casino.
Small venue that
seats 4,500 people. Yeah, but it's adjacent to it. Yeah, and almost about 88% of all the seats are covered. When you get up to the upper level of the bleacher seats there, it gets a little bit outside the roof line. But a lot of that's floor seating, and the bleachers actually have seats. They're not just bleachers. Sit in a chair.
What year did
1985. so it's one of the youngest cities in Maryland Heights. You know, and Chesterfield was incorporated in 1988. Amen. So then Chesterfield, Maryland Heights, which are two of your largest cities in the county, incorporated way later.
I can remember when I first came out there, was there any
not to my knowledge.
you used to drive up north, look to the north.
Not to my knowledge.
That's a public works issue, right?
I saw that record of our place is sold. That required.
It is already. So we, the city, purchased Mauer's property, tore it down, and then when we sold that property to George, we incorporated a piece of the Mauer so that the drive-through could be established behind them.
Are you relocating or opening another?
Opening another. Yeah. The McKelvey Road store will remain open, as well as his Hazelwood Porcelain store. It's amazing.
Wow.
He's been in Maryland Heights, which was his first store. He's been in Maryland Heights for 27 years. He's been very successful. Do you have any idea what his annual revenue is? Just here in Maryland?
I didn't even know Tony told us.
You've had them before. We brought them to, when I lived around the corner, I brought them all the time.
2.6 million.
How many dollars is it?
Wow.
Correct.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It is a little store.
That's right.
It is. That's right.
Yeah, so when you start looking at
about 85%.
I would say so. Yeah, I would say it was so when he opens here, his menu will be a little bit more substantial on the sandwiches and other things. That's what you want to do.
Probably the longer hours.
Yes, that's correct. The McKelvey store will go back to the way that it used to be. If you're familiar, it'll open at 5 o'clock, it'll close at noon. It'll be about McDonald's and take on that other larger role with a bunch of items. But yeah, he would have been open sooner when COVID did a little delay on his progress and impact him a little bit, but he survived and continued with this project, which is a good thing. And so we didn't want to see him back away from it just because of the pandemic. And like I said, he's been highly successful. Yeah, are you familiar with Joya's Deli? That's on Olive. So the Joya's that's opened a new store here in Heights. It's right there. Yeah. But they opened another store here in Maryland Heights at 50 and 80. And almost in that industrial area, across the street from Overland's other building. So right by the railroad tracks, but right off of 50. You can't eat inside, but you can order and pick up there. Pick up what? But yeah. Also their kitchen. Yeah, right to the, as soon as you,
Close to where you were, Bob.
as soon as you, if you come up 80 and turn left on 50, as soon as you cross the tracks, they're up there. The railroad track just crosses. Yeah, it's before you even get to Chris and Chappie and all that. It's right there. It's right at the corner. They've opened there. Lulu's, which is a Asian restaurant. They also opened on Weldon Parkway, which is also their actual distribution center. So they provide food to other Asian restaurants throughout St. Louis, but they do everything here. It's truck for them. But you can also order lunch from there as well. That's what.
Or camping. Oh, this is down. This is the water.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they do what I would have never done, but they do an extremely healthy business that I would have never guessed.
Our church.
We had several new biotech companies located here in Maryland Heights throughout the pandemic. So there are 6 new bioscience complexes that have been located here in Maryland Heights, all in different areas of the westward corridor. A lot of different, like I said, a lot of diversity, a lot of different business types throughout Maryland Heights. Certainly expanding on different life science as well as plant-based medicine, those types of projects are what's coming to the forefront.
What's the big level going on?
Behind Carroll, huh? Yeah, right. So that project's been in the works since 2016. It's finally came to fruition. It's a data center. It's not very many employees. They only about 20 people, but they're a massive electricity user, and so it's just like I said, it'll become a very secure facility, and it won't look like prison. It's just a little over 6 acres on that side. We've lost a couple businesses, like say other than the ones in Westport. That Great Eagle Distributing is leaving Maryland Heights after being here for 75 years. To the Pit Logistics Park, for the price of plants. They've bought several different distribution companies down the 44 corridor, as well as further south, the 55 corridor. So they want to be in that more central located, but much larger building. And we just didn't have the product to offer. 250,000 square foot building, we can't get it. The current building is only 35,000 square feet. The new building is 250,000 square feet. Mm-hmm. Right. In that same industrial park. Right. That's great. That's all I have.
Alan, Heather, do you guys have any quick questions?
I'm sorry.
You have any questions?
No.
No questions here either.
Well, we do have a drawing. Okay.
Next week, we will not be meeting here. We're going to be meeting at the Miracle Care Food Pantry. And Sister Brenda said that they would have donuts and coffee for us. I need to remind her about that, but that's the point. So 7 o'clock.
Where do you enter the code here?
I'm not sure. Midland?
Yeah,
go to the.
I know where it is. I was there yesterday. That's why I'm asking.
So go to the
go to the back side. Enter on
There's a
the
couple
west.
trucks back there, I just wondered. There's a couple.
The entrance is over by, it's facing our Redeemer.
Is it on Shelley then, or is it off of Midland?
No, so they store the buses there on the Midland side, and then on the other side, it's facing our Redeemer.
Can you still enter between the old church and Doc Alvin's, Dennis?
I don't know. I just know that where the polling places were there, it was on the opposite side. So because they were doing construction in the very front, so.
They're on the east part.
They moved it. They moved it opposite side of the west side. Yeah, kind of northwest.
So anyway, we will not be meeting here, and we will not be meeting virtually because Dave said that he wouldn't be able to set that up. So, so no virtual meeting next week. And then, oh yeah, tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. There's a memorial service at Mount Zion for Ted. And Heather, you never got a chance to meet Ted. He's a great guy. Was a member of our club for many, many years. He passed away, when was it? December. So, doing a memorial service. Yeah.
It was not quite.
So anyway, that's tomorrow at 10:30. So, have a drawing?
I do. Last 2, 6, 9.
That might be me.
That might be it.
Okay.
Check, because all the numbers I have go with it.
That's which way you want to turn this. You need to be 698-089 or 680-869.
That's the same one, because mine works the same way.
I'm just gonna say, too bad, Tom.
All right, Tom. Let's see. All right, is the Joker? Oh, what's the other box?
So if I'll just say, if I win the drawing, I'm gonna just blow the money out of useless, frivolous stuff.
You're gonna win.
Okay.
So a little over 200 bucks. You have to draw the Joker. He needs to draw the Joker. So we start down to just that many. 53 cards. There.
Anything, do we else have anything for the good of the club?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, Dave. Dave's mom passed away on Thursday, so sorry to hear Dave. Our condolences with you. And how old was she? 81. Our condolences to you. All right. We'll see you all next week at Coker, at Winter Coker for the pantry.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye, Heather.
Bye, Heather.